Hey, it's Terrence K. Williams here, and I am with one of the greatest chefs in America. I mean, this guy can cook. He can cook his ass off, like cook. So you might get a little hungry watching this podcast today because we're going to talk about a lot of food and a lot of politics. I am with Andrew Gruel. How's it going, man?
Going well. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on.
Appreciate it.
So we talked on social media, when was it? Back in 2020? It was during the COVID shutdown, right?
Yeah.
So when did you start? So you are a celebrity chef. Like, I mean, how did you get into cooking and,
Yeah, well, look, I mean, everybody loves food, right? So just like that's obviously my origin story is just loving food. But I didn't grow up. Everybody's got these cooking stories like, I grew up on grandma's lap and I was making pasta. No, I grew up in a microwave generation. I mean, two working parents, never home, and just constantly microwaving, fast food, you name it. So to some degree, it was a hobby of survival. I remember skipping school when I was younger and watching like those old Dump and Stir TV shows, Young Can Cook and like Julia Child, all those PBS shows, right? Like that kind of softcore food porn, and just fell in love with it, but never thought it'd be a career. Obviously, young age, got to get a job. I mean, 11, 12, 13 years old, started working for a friend's mom's catering company, got the bite of food there. Then ultimately in high school was working in a hotel kitchen, and didn't even go to college for cooking originally. Went up to a small liberal arts college, and I was studying piano performance and philosophy, but I was spending all my time in restaurants and kitchens, 60, 70 hours a week, that after a year I dropped out of college and was like, this is what I got to focus on, right? Loved the kitchen, loved everything about food, loved the culture. I mean, just everything about the restaurant industry. And then from there, it kind of took me into this career.
Got you. So originally you studied piano and philosophy?
Yeah. I was a true Renaissance man.
Yeah. So are you still into so do you play now? The piano?
Man, I can't. I mean, we've got a piano and I try and play with the kids, but I don't, for me now it's just understanding and appreciating music and music theory, but I don't, I've cut most of my fingers off.
Well, I think you had a better chance in being successful and being a chef than philosophy.
Yeah. Well, who knows, right? I could just spew a bunch of bullshit up on social media and probably make a lot of money.
Right. Right. So you're in the restaurant business too, right?
Yes.
Do you own a restaurant as of now?
So I owned Slapfish, which we had 30 locations. I started as a food truck back in 2011, and then last year we actually sold the whole company. And I said I wasn't going to get back in the restaurant industry. I had a small pizza joint as well, which we kept open. But then within 24, 48 hours, I opened a whole new spot down in Huntington Beach called Calico Fish House. So it's a full
Calico
restaurant.
Fish House?
Yeah, full bar. So this one's a lot bigger. Our Slapfish locations were fast casual, but so this is the new focus. So we'll build this up and maybe sell that soon as well.
So what's your favorite fish?
Oh, man, so many good ones. But I like the underutilized species, right? Like we always eat salmon, shrimp, tuna, a lot of those popular
I like
fish.
catfish.
Catfish is great.
Oh, man. Catfish?
Catfish is great.
And I'm from the South, so we love catfish in the South.
Yep. American catfish. So much of our fish is imported, but we've got this amazing American catfish industry here in the U.S. Unbelievable. And then they got this catfish coming out of the Chesapeake now. They call it blue catfish.
Blue catfish.
Yeah, so it's a much bigger, fatter fillet.
Yeah.
Amazing eating. Look for it sometime. It's actually an invasive species. So that's been big in the kind of seafood circle.
So how did you come up with the name Slapfish? Like, is the fish slapping?
Yeah, man. Fish so fresh it'll slap you.
It's slapping good? It make you want to slap your mama?
Exactly.
The fish so good it make you want to slap your mama?
Bingo. Hey, I like onomatopoeia, right? Slap, snap, crackle, pop. So I figured got to have it in the name.
So, like, what is the best-selling fish at Slapfish?
Gosh, back when I, like I said, I sold it last year, so I don't know what's going on now. But our lobster roll, which isn't a fish, it's a crustacean. Our lobster roll was the most popular, but we change the fish all the time. So that's the idea behind it is that we're constantly changing the seafood that we serve, but people come for the dishes as opposed to specifically looking for the fish.
Got you. This show is sponsored by Noble Gold, the first sponsor to believe in me. Thank you, Noble Gold. Y'all, the US dollar is losing value every single day. It's called inflation. And the Biden administration isn't doing anything about it. They don't care. And from now and through the next election, they still won't care. The current government, the Biden administration, these people can print as much money as they want. That means the value of your dollar and my dollar is in trouble, and so is your future. So make sure you protect the money you already have. People, please protect your money. Invest in noble gold. Invest in gold. Gold protects against rising inflation, recession, and will protect your retirement, which is really important. Noble Gold can help you invest in gold. Contact them now and you'll get a 24 karat gold standard coin for free. And I love free, okay? And but anyways, people, call Noble Gold now at 877-646-5347 and mention my name or click the link in the description. Noble Gold, the only gold company for you. You know, I want to go back to the microwave food. So you said you grew up on microwave food.
You know it.
So what was your favorite? So like, what was your favorite microwave food?
Anything Sara Lee. Anything Sara Lee.
Sara Lee, who is that?
Yeah, Sara Lee. Those microwave cinnamon rolls, you name it, microwave pound cake, right?
Yeah.
You know, it was that was it. I remember even like we cooked eggs in a microwave.
Yeah, I have too.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
It is.
It's disgusting.
I know. But you know what? You got to do what you got to do.
It's disgusting. But you know, a lot of people use the microwave now. A lot of people can't cook these days.
Nobody can. But
everybody's using a microwave.
You know it. And it's got its place, right? Like we have microwaves in our kitchen because if you think about it, the microwave cooks from the inside out. Mm-hmm. So if you want to cook something in a short way, you do like 20 seconds in a microwave and then finish in a pan or something along those lines. Got
you. Yeah. So what was the first? So when you started cooking, like, what was the first dish that like was like your best dish? You know, because somebody had to tell you, well, man, you can cook really good. So like, what was that dish that was like, you know what? I'm gonna start doing this more often. I'm gonna make this a career.
Man, you know, it's a great question, but I didn't even have that dish. I don't think people liked my cooking in the beginning. I think it was pretty bad, actually. But for me, it was sauces, right? Like everything's about sauces. Sauce is boss. So I realized that you could take dry, you know, relatively untasty food and throw some good sauce on there, and at least you have a modicum of a chance to take it to the next level. So sauce, anything sauce related.
Yeah, man. Well, I worked in the kitchen. The kitchen, man, the kitchen life is tough. I mean, it's you on your feet all damn day. Yep. You're sweating. I mean, on your feet all day. In the kitchen, like literally, if you work in a kitchen and if somebody call out, you staying all day.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like I would go in at 5 a.m. I wouldn't leave till like 8 p.m.
Yep, you know it. That's
get
exactly
back up again, 5 a.m. 8 p.m., get back up again.
Yep.
Like, that shit is tough.
Yep.
You know, and I had thought about being a chef. You know, I mean, I'm just a cook. You know, I own Cousin T's Pancakes. People say, are you a chef? I'm not a chef. I just cook.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not because to be a chef, you have to be certified, right?
To some degree, you don't have
right.
to be.
Like, don't you have to get like some type of certificate?
Yeah, for like certain levels of being a chef, like a certified executive chef, etc. But nowadays, everybody calls himself a chef. So
yeah, true. Yeah, but I don't miss working in the kitchen though. I don't miss it at all. That shit is tough.
Well, and I call it the pirate ship, right?
Yeah.
Like you got all these personalities that come together, right? Everybody who's just trying to make money here, make money there, front of the house, back of the house. You know, half of them are just like vagrants, and everybody comes together, and then they bond over service, and then everybody starts drinking. I mean, it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Kitchens are known for being these like absolute nut houses. That was something that was attractive to me. It was just the fact that it was like all these weird personalities coming together over food.
Right. Yeah, that is very true. So I gotta ask you. So do you like Cajun catfish?
I love Cajun catfish.
Yeah. Now, do y'all sell that at Slapfish, Cajun?
No. And even now at Calico, it's like it's so interesting. Like California, people have these simple palates. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's hard for me to introduce new, spicy, bold flavors, but you know, we'll creep it in.
Yeah, man. I love my catfish season with some Cajun. I mean, man, I'm telling you. So, what is the secret to opening up a restaurant?
Got to be a psychologist, right? Because 90% of the time, you're just going to be dealing with your team members, your employees. Somebody broke up with somebody. Somebody's upset this day. Mm-hmm. Somebody, drank too much the night before. This person doesn't get along with this person. That's why I joke with everybody. I said, don't worry about the economics and the financial framework of running a restaurant. Learn how to deal with people and manage all their expectations.
Right. So, what was your worst experience in running a restaurant? Worst.
Running a restaurant, I've had it all. I mean, I've had I've had people like crap themselves in the restaurant, and then the whole restaurant has to get cleared out, and then like
that's disgusting.
Yep, that's disgusting. I know. I mean, I'm talking. You
now,
asked.
If somebody boo booed in a why y'all have to clear out the whole restaurant?
Because it smelled so bad, and then they locked themselves in the bathroom and tried to clean their pants. And then
that's disgusting.
Yeah, I've had horrible experiences. I've worked in restaurants too. This isn't owning a restaurant where I had two guys. One guy stabbed the other guy online in the middle of service. I mean, we have had some absolutely crazy stories. I've seen it all. I can honestly say.
Yeah. Now, right now, with everything going on, a lot of people don't want to work. I've been hearing it's hard to find employees. So, are y'all struggling right now to find employees to work?
I mean, we're lucky now that we've consolidated to one location. I've got a loyal crew who's been with me for over a decade. So, and we pay really well. We pay really well. That's kind of my key to success is long, slow hiring process, pay really well, way above. I mean, I got dishwashers who make more than 6 figures. And they're more than dishwashers.
I'm gonna wash the dishes.
Seriously, come on down. But you know, it is tough right now, right? And the hardest thing is that a lot of people, two things, right? In California, number one, it's hard to find people because California garnishes people's wages so easily. So you'll get like a line cook, maybe who owes money on taxes, and they'll work for you for about 5 weeks, and then when the government catches up to that, and then they garnish their paychecks, then they quit and they go to the next place, right? So that's number one in places like California, and then number two is just like getting people who have a work ethic. There's just this mentality now that everything should be given to me and I shouldn't have to work hard. The bare minimum is what's expected, right? So when you ask people to do their job and what's been explained to them as their job and they do it, they're like, well, I should get a raise, but that's your job, right? Like you get a raise for going above and beyond. Yeah. And that bar keeps going lower and lower. So I think in an industry where it was like kids working to get a leg up or a stepping stone to a real career or just a little extra spending money. It's no longer that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, a lot of people are. I was gonna cuss. Well, a lot of people are fucking lazy. Yeah. Excuse my language, everybody, but a lot of people are lazy as shit. Yeah, lazy. Yep. You don't want to work, but you want a raise. Yeah, like you want a raise and then don't show up to work. That's how people are like these days. I used to bust I was young. I started it out in the kitchen when I was in the 9th grade. Okay. And I showed up to work after school, summer, whatever. Like I came on time all the time, and I was one of the best. And I was a line cook too. I was one of the best damn line cooks. I can cook my ass off, man. People used to love my food. But so did you started speaking out though? You started speaking about politics, a lot of things that's going on socially. Did that hurt your business?
No, it helped my business. And that's what I talk about is that we got this parallel economy, and actually everybody thinks they're going to get canceled. But when you harness the truth and kind of what you believe in, even if not everybody's going to agree with you, I think nowadays people appreciate somebody who stands by principles and speaks out against a lot of the insanity, right? Like I'm not talking about going to any extreme, but just, even if I talk out about like retail theft and the crime and the fact that they're letting everybody out on the streets in California and then they kind of keep repeating crime and crime and crime, most level-headed people want somebody to speak up about that from a business owner's perspective. But a lot of people here in California are afraid to do so because they don't want to kind of, buck up against the powers that be. So it helps our business because people know, okay, I'm going to go there and I'm supporting somebody who's standing behind reasonable principles, morals, and values. So that's been a good thing. Has it helped me socially? Not necessarily. I mean, I lost a lot of my TV deals. I lost a lot of, I was on a lot of boards that I got dropped from because if you are not towing the line perfectly to this extreme left, then you're considered far right.
Now, what was it that you said that made the TV executive say, you know what, we dropping you from this TV show? Like, what was it?
Well, and they did it silently too, right? Like, because nobody wants to actually face have the conversation because deep down, I think a lot of these people also know they're wrong. But it was just speaking out against the COVID restrictions, right? In the very beginning, not wanting to close the restaurant because I thought it was absurd. And I'm not saying that we were wide open and packing people on top of each other, but understanding that restaurants actually were in a prime position to be able to exhibit the fact that you can present good behavior in a setting and be aware of COVID restrictions, but still open and operate. And that was a bad thing for me to say that. I wanted to kill grandma. You remember that? Phase 1? If it just saves one life, right?
Yeah.
So I was considered just this crazy extremist because I was speaking out against all the COVID restrictions. And then they merged that into, right, the socialists come in and they're like, you capitalist pig, all you care about is money,
Yeah.
et cetera.
Yeah.
So, it becomes this much bigger snowball social issue.
So now, during COVID, I mean, that had to hurt your business too, right?
Yeah, COVID did. COVID, we struggled big time. I mean, just like any other restaurant and any other business, we had to kind of grit and bear it and figure out every single day, what are we going to do to draw revenue in today? What are we going to do to help out our team members? Because as I mentioned in the beginning, right, like our team members are our biggest asset. People who have been with me for 5-10 years. If I lose those people, you don't just go hire somebody because, as as we just said, like you're constantly going through turnover. When you hire somebody new, it costs you a lot of money to do so.
And kitchen, it's a lot of high turnover rate.
Yeah.
in the food industry.
Yeah, and that costs money
in the restaurant industry.
You got to train, you got to do all that. So we were trying to figure out how to help our team members, but also to keep the business afloat and to keep revenue coming in for our family. And that was a struggle.
Yeah, and they're supposed to. I'm hearing. Are you hearing that COVID is coming? Like the mandates are coming back.
Yeah, now they're talking about masks. They're talking about all these different restrictions. And I mean, it's unbelievable that we just keep doing the same thing over and over again.
Now, what are you going to do if Gavin Newsome, if California say you got to shut down your business? Are you going to shut down, or are you going to keep your doors open?
No, I'm going to keep the doors open.
Now, what if they take you to jail?
I mean, I guess I go to jail.
You gonna go to jail?
I'd go to jail if it was about keeping my business open during pandemic 3.0 and they said we're going to take you to jail. Well, then I mean civil disobedience, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's very true. But I think that's why a lot of people do obey because they don't want to go to jail or they're scared to lose money. Well, shit. If they shut down your business, you're gonna lose money anyway.
That's the point.
So, but I don't know why people comply to stuff like this. Like they can't arrest everybody, they can't go after everybody. Maybe they can, but it's gonna be hard. So if they shut down this country again, I think everybody should keep their businesses open.
I agree.
They can't go after all of us. They can try, but it's going to be hard.
The reason why people do it is because they're the fear, right? So they scare you with this cancellation stuff. And if you speak out, it's not that your local clientele is going to say, well, we don't agree with what you're doing, but then they got the big media machine behind all of these kind of these people that are doxing you or these people that are calling you out. And then the big, massive media machine jumps behind it. And that's an institution that's scary, right? Because it's if you think about it, the mainstream media is really an extension of the government now. It's the fourth arm of the government. It's the propaganda machine. And when they get behind you, I mean, you're fighting the government itself, or you're fighting a branch of the government to some degree, fictitious branch. So people get so scared of that it's like, look, I got a family, I've got people I got to, deal with in everyday life. It's just much easier for me to kind of roll over and deal with it. But that's a scary prospect, right? Because that's a slippery slope.
Just rolling over, dealing with hell no.
Yeah.
Hell no.
Exactly.
Hell no.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm gonna say this on every podcast. I am not complying with any new mandates. I'm not complying. I'm not putting on no mask. You're gonna have to kick me. You're gonna have to drag me out the damn store.
Yeah.
Well, you're not gonna have to drag me out. If you tell me to leave, I'm gonna just leave.
Yeah.
But I'm not putting on no mask. I'm just not doing it. I'm not taking a vaccine. I don't have a restaurant, but if I had one, I would not shut my doors. They would have to find me. They would have to take me to jail. They would have to burn down the damn building, or else the damn door gonna be open. Seriously, let them burn down your damn building. Keep those doors open. Because if we show them that we will not comply, that what they are asking of us is just insane, then they will back off.
And there's enough people out there who recognize the insanity of the mandates, the insanity of the government stepping in and controlling your every single breath, quite literally. So I think that people need to realize the first time around, right, it was this grand experiment.
Yeah.
And I understand that for the first 2 weeks and when everything got shut down, some people, including myself, were like, okay, well, let's see this through for 2 weeks, maybe X,
because
Y, and Z.
we didn't know.
No.
I mean, they were talking up a good game on TV. It was scaring the hell out of everything. I'm not gonna, they scared me, shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, you gonna die if you go outside. I'm like, oh, hell no, I'm staying inside.
I know.
Yeah, you gonna die if you don't wear a mask. Oh, shit, let me put on this mask.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, they were like, like when I would get my food, I was getting my food because all we had was Uber Eats and damn DoorDash. When the DoorDash people drop off my food, I'm literally spraying the bag with Lysol. I'm wiping the door down with hand sanitizer. I'm just doing the dumbest shit. Like, why am I spraying this bag with Lysol? They had us doing some of the dumbest shit ever. And they didn't tell us to spray down our bags, but they were scaring people so much that people were literally at home in their homes with a mask on. Mm-hmm. Why are you wearing a mask in the comfort of your own home?
It's absolute insanity. But
what the hell? And it makes it even worse if you are alone.
But they did tell you to wipe the bags down and all that. Remember, in the beginning, they thought it was surface to surface spread.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yep.
So everything had to be sanitized, and that's why all those sanitation wipes, the chlorine, the bleach stuff was out of every single store. But then, this is when I knew that something was up. It was like 2 weeks into the pandemic, and then this study came out, and they were like, oh, we realized it doesn't spread surface to surface. It's a respiratory virus, et cetera. But they just kind of like, they just let that dribble out and never really announced it. Yeah. So everybody still did that for like a year. I remember well after reading that in CDC print that there's up on the, CBS health advice, wipe all your groceries down. And I'm thinking to myself, we know this is not right. Yeah. But yet we're still doing it. Yeah. It's a joke. Somebody's laughing at us.
Exactly. Dude, I literally bought every vitamin you can think of. I didn't just buy the multivitamin bottle. I looked on the back of the multivitamin bottle and said, I'm going to buy all these vitamins that's on the back. Yeah. Vitamin A, B, C, D, E, F. I mean, I was buying every I would go on Amazon, look up, dude, I had so much vitamin C. Like anything that could help out your immune system, I bought it.
I'm pretty sure
anything that had immune support, I bought it.
I'm pretty sure that at one point I was on birth control. Yeah, that's how much stuff I was taking.
Dude, I had so many. I probably had over 20 bottles. I mean, I was popping the hell out of these damn vitamin pills. Yeah. I mean, it was insane. Like my stomach was hurting one day. I took so many vitamins. I didn't even get sick from COVID. I got sick from the vitamin pills. Yeah. Because I took so many. I said, what am I doing? Like, they were like, but it's what we saw on TV. And then finally, after, where was it? What do they call it? After 2 weeks to what?
Slow the spread.
To slow the spread.
Flatten the curve, whatever you want to say.
Yeah, to flatten the curve. After 3 weeks, 4, 5, 6, 7. After a while, I was like, you know what? I'm done taking these vitamins. I'm going outside. I am not going to live. I refuse to live in fear because they had everybody living in fear. Yep. Families didn't want to. They didn't want you to be with your families, with your friends. If somebody did not live in your household, they said don't let them come over to your house. They could give you COVID and you could die. I mean, it was just absolutely insane. And the fact that they want to bring that back, the fact that I believe they are bringing that back is just. It's crazy, and I really hope that Americans all over do not comply. I just hope they don't.
Well, it's fear. Yeah. It's all about fear, right? Like when people are scared, then they're willing to do things because they think perhaps that's the placebo, right? So, or that's the panacea to it. We are being fed a placebo. But, if I'm scared and they say, look, we know you're scared, but if you do A, B, and C, don't worry, you won't need to be scared anymore. Right. Then somebody's going to do it. And people still are scared, right? Yeah. Like I would suggest that upwards of 30 or 40% of the population still lives with that same level of fear that was, created, catalyzed during the pandemic.
Yeah. I refuse to live in fear. And I understand, some people, like I don't judge people. Like you want to take the vaccine, you take it. Just don't force it. Yeah. Don't force it on me. Don't force it onto others who do not want to take it, And me, I'm not anti-vaccine. I'm just anti-COVID vaccine, Yeah. And I've never taken a flu shot. Never in my life.
I did once.
Never. I have never taken the flu shot. Now I did the tuberculosis shot. I had to do that because I was working at a hospital. Okay. And I had to take it, or else I wouldn't have a job. Yeah. But tuberculosis, that shit can. Now that's some real shit right there. Yeah. The COVID was real. The flu, it was just another form of the flu. and I never taken a flu shot, so I didn't see the point in taking a COVID flu shot,
Yeah.
So I was scared in the beginning, but I wasn't I wasn't that scared where I was going to take a damn shot. But, but that's good that you stood up and you did everything possible to take care of your employees, because a lot of people struggled in the restaurant business. I would go to restaurants and what happened? Some restaurants never recovered. They never recovered at all.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't afford to pay their employees, they couldn't afford to pay rent, they couldn't afford to pay the utilities, and they got into so much debt and never recovered. So many businesses are still dead because of COVID.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that's not talked about. And by the way, going back to your flu shot, I said I took the flu shot once, and guess what happened that year? I got a really bad flu.
See?
But just saying, anecdotal. The first phase of the shutdown, when they started busting through all these restaurants, and hair salons and retail shops, etc., there was a huge group of businesses that shut down and never reopened, totally forgotten about, right? Then when you got into phase 2 and the PPP money was flowing and the employee retention credit, then all these people were like, well, I can use this government money.
Right.
Look, the government's stepping up and helping us out. But that first tranche of restaurants was totally forgotten about. And I still have a lot of friends who lost everything during that stage and are still struggling, to pull themselves up, because they never got to that stage 2.
Yeah.
In the beginning, the government said, we're shutting you all down. They didn't basically effectuate this government gravy train for months, but landlords were still charging rent, as you said. Bills were still due.
Yep.
If you had debt that you were servicing, well, that debt was called. So you couldn't use any of the PPP or the COVID money to service former debt. You could use that money on a go-forward basis. But what happened in that nut between point A and point B? Well, every business went under. And that's not talked about. That's a tragedy that's never talked about.
It's not. And, they've been talking a lot about reparations, and especially in California. I hear that, they've been discussing a lot about giving out racial reparations. But to be honest, America, the government should pay reparations to these businesses that were forced to shut down.
Yeah.
They deserve reparations. They deserve money to open their businesses back up. Whatever they need, the government should give it to them.
Yeah, I know.
Whatever they need. If Pawpaw's Barbecue House needs $2 million to open back up, the government needs to give Pawpaw's Barbecue House $2 million, because you force Pawpaw's Barbecue House, which this is not a real restaurant. I don't know if it is. I'm just making up a name.
Shout out to Pawpaw's.
Yeah, if there is one. But the government should give that restaurant $2 million without even asking any questions, because you forced them to shut down, and you are the reason why they are out of business, why a lot of employees got fired. I mean, a lot of employees had to be let go. And you literally, some people were in business for, some people have these family businesses that were around for 50, 60 years. Family business and the small business been around for a long time, 30 years, 20 years, and never recovered.
Yep.
And they want to talk about giving out money to people because of their skin color. Bullshit. Give out money to people who were forced to close their businesses and were not able to, and have been closed since then. Those are the people who deserve money right now. We giving all this money to damn Ukraine. Give money to these small business owners who were put out of business because of COVID, because y'all didn't know what the hell y'all were talking about.
And furthermore, because you made a quick move to just shut everything down. You, on the flip side, you could have been free market and said, look, there's this virus going on. Here's what we suggest. You guys deal with it the way you want to deal with it. You want to shut your business down? That's your call to shut it down. Then that's fine. I don't think the government should give them the money. They should go to friends and family and utilize the free market. But the government stepped in and said, you have to shut down, right? It is therefore their responsibility, or ours collectively, because it's our money, to then backfill those businesses with the necessary funds as you suggest. But they didn't do that, and they never did. And that's the thing that's crazy about this is that this isn't, if we're going to be wiping off all the student debt, right? We're wiping out all the student debt. Why don't we wipe out business debt?
Right, exactly. We should wipe out business debt. You know,
business debt somehow related or connected to COVID, right? Like there's got to be some stipulation, but that'll never happen because they pick and choose, right?
Yeah.
They get the pocketbook and then they pick and choose who gets it, and then whoever gets the money is the person who they think they want. They want your vote.
Yeah, exactly. See, the government was testing people. That's what the government do. They see if you are going. They want to see if everybody is going to comply.
Yep.
And the moment that you do, they say, "All right, we got them. We got them." So going forward, they're gonna do anything we say.
Yep. Yeah.
And if we need to do this again, we're gonna do it again. You know, and that's why they're talking about bringing it back, because they know, well, back in 2020, everybody complied. Most of America complied and stayed at home. So we can get them to do it again.
Yep.
We just got to scare them a little bit, you know. Maybe we need to make up some death numbers or something. Maybe we, you know, like they're going to
New variant.
Yeah, they're going to figure out a new variant, but I think they're going to figure out a way to really scare people.
Of course.
Even more.
Yeah.
Because there's been new variants, but you know, people like, whatever.
Well, yeah. You can skew statistics to prove any point you want, right?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I say, and when we talk about, say something like this, I always think about, okay, well, what's the alternative viewpoint? Well, somebody's going to listen to us talking and say, look at this, you know, they think the government is so, you know, they're so conspiratorial.
Right.
The government sits in this room and they're not that coordinated. Well, you're right. They're not. The government is a group of teachers sitting around the teacher's lounge smoking cigarettes, okay? And we're the kids that really the teachers hate. I remember growing up in school, teachers hated us. Right? Yeah. Like, they were like, you stupid little brats. Like, teachers just chain smoking cigarettes. She's like, God, and I was a class clown.
Smelling like cigarettes and donuts.
Yeah, you remember that? And bad coffee. Bad coffee. And guilt. And, you know, so they're sitting around the teacher's line, and I knew what these teachers would do. They'd be like, well, look, I'm going to do this to my kids today. And then 5 of the other teachers were like, oh, that's a good idea. I'm going to do that too. Right? That's what it happens when you sit around these CDC meetings. It's just a bunch of teachers sitting around the lounge smoking cigarettes, talking about how stupid the plebeian kids are, which is us.
Yep.
And well, we're going to do this. So, and you see with that new CDC director, you know, she was formerly with North Carolina, and well, you know, I talked to them and said, well, they were doing this, so I guess we got to do the same thing. And these idiots listen to it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not that it's some big coordinated like infrastructure of conspiracy. It's just a bunch of like-minded people and elites sitting together who have the power, who then coordinate with what the messaging is going to be, and then that's it.
Right, exactly. Yeah. People just do not comply. Don't comply.
You're being duped. You're being duped. And if that means lawsuits, right, that's what it comes down to. Is you look at what the Daily Wire did when they sued the Biden administration for the mandates, and I want to say it was Hartmut Dillon and her law firm who helped represent them. They won, right? They pushed back. Now, granted, they've got deep pockets and they've got all this funding, but the good news is that a lot of like-minded people have come together and put funds together in order to fight legally.
That's the thing right there. A lot of people don't have money to fight back.
Yeah.
So they don't fight back.
Exactly.
And I understand sometimes, because some people have children.
Yeah.
And they're thinking like, well, damn, I already don't have any money. I can't really fight back because that's going to take food from my kids.
Yep.
You know, I got to keep these lights on because I have kids. I got to, you know, feed my kids. I got to buy them stuff and da-da-da. So I can't really fight back. And the government takes advantage of that because they know that.
Yep.
But nobody would really have to fight back if we all just come together and don't comply.
Yeah.
Then nobody would have to go to court. Nobody would have to, you know, they're not going to, how many Americans live in this? I mean, how many, I don't know the population number.
315 million.
Huh?
315 million.
315 million.
Yeah.
They're not taking 315 million people to court.
Yeah.
They're not.
Exactly.
And if we all don't pay, if we all stay home and we refuse to go, what are they going to do? We outnumber the military. We outnumber, I mean, you know, what are they going to do? Not a damn thing.
And they won't turn the military on their own people.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying, though. But if they did, they'll be outnumbered. Yeah. So and then that'll be, you know, something that we don't want to see in this country. But man, you know what? I got to give it to you for speaking out, because you come from, I mean, dude, you've been, a celebrity chef. You know, had all these TV shows, all these food shows, all these great gigs, and you spoke out and you lost they took away opportunities from you because you spoke out. I mean, man, you had the balls to speak out. And a lot of people who, I don't think Gordon Ramsay would speak out. You know, he don't want to lose. He not going to do that. A lot of people that are, very successful, a lot of them do not speak out because they don't want to lose out on opportunities,
Mm-hmm.
But you had to have known the moment that you spoke out that you were going to lose.
Oh yeah.
A lot.
Oh yeah. The first I remember.
So what made you just say, I don't give a damn? I'm going to do it.
Because it just made me angrier. It made me angrier that people weren't. It's like you have an orange and you say, hey, look at this orange. And everybody's like, no, that's an apple, right? Like you seethe with rage because you know that's an orange. Stop trying to pretend like this is an apple.
Yeah.
And when you get to that level of the twilight zone, nothing else really matters at that point. You're like, no, I've got to make sure that I let people know that this really is an orange.
Yeah.
And most people know it's an orange, but you're watching them slowly get brainwashed. So when it gets to that level, like you really feel like you're living in a Twilight episode. And that was kind of it for me. And then furthermore, it just came so hard and so fast is that if other people were coming at me and saying, I don't agree with you, but I appreciate your perspective. And there was at least a little bit of civility to it. But no, it's like, you want people dead.
Yeah.
You're a murderer. It's just, it was so aggressive towards me as an individual that I thought to myself, that's bullshit. Like, no, that's not the case. Stop putting words in my mouth. And I watched the way that the manipulation machine worked. And once I put all those pieces together, I realized, all right, this is an intellectual war now. And I don't care about X, Y, and Z. I know I'm going to lose this regardless.
Yeah.
They're going to shut me down anyway. So I'm going to either lose the business and our revenue is already at peril. So it's not like somebody's giving you a choice and saying, here's $1 million. Take it now, right?
Yeah.
Like there was no alternate choice.
Yeah.
It was failure or speak out and still fail.
Right.
Well, I do the latter. At least you can go to bed at night feeling good about yourself.
Right, man. I really hope that a lot of people who want to speak out, who've been afraid, I hope they are inspired to speak out after hearing what you said. Sometimes you have to sacrifice something, for the better, for the good. You just have to. And then
push. You got to stick with it, right?
And you got to stick with it. Don't back down. Don't say, oh, I'm sorry for speaking out. No, don't apologize.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the moment that you apologize, they are going to use it against you.
You lost.
Your
apology is never going to help anything.
No.
Never.
They don't forgive you.
Yeah.
No. Hell no.
I always joke, like I watch these TV shows where they're like, oh, objection, Your Honor, and then they're like, oh, objection sustained. Strike that from your memory to the jury. The jury heard it.
The jury, exactly.
They heard it. You can strike it, sustain it, whatever the hell it is, right? So when you come out and you've already been branded as this horrible person, and then you apologize, 95% of the people think you're this horrible person.
Right.
Now the other 5% just think you're a flip-flopper. So you've lost 100%.
Yeah.
You're just weak. And I saw way too many people do that during the pandemic. They would kind of peek back behind the curtain and be like, I don't agree with this. And then everyone would attack them and be like, oh, never mind. I agree with it. I'm back home. I'm going to lock myself in the house.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Don't apologize. They're going to use it against you. They're going to say, oh, you're not really sorry. You're only sorry because we're going after you.
Yep.
So it's so pointless. Do not apologize. I've been wrong about a couple things, and I did not apologize. Nope, not going to do it. Nope. Actually, I'm going to double down.
Yeah.
I'm going to double down. And man, and you live in California, right?
Yep.
How do you do it?
I mean, I live in Orange County, which is a little bit different, but still, California is California. Regardless of the county, you're still kind of subject to the Newsome tyranny. But look, everybody kind of says, get out of California, and California's crazy. You'd be surprised at how many reasonably minded people there are here. Yeah. And I would suggest that only 6 or 7%, that's about the swing in California. We could go to a reasonably minded candidate if the proper communication channels opened up, but they're hiding people's voices. There's hope here in California. You just got to pull people together and get the word out.
My thing is this, a lot of people have left California. Mm-hmm. What I would say, and I was talking to someone else about this, I don't like when flaming hot liberals move to Texas and vote blue.
Yep.
You were voting, you left because of the people who you voted for in California. Mm-hmm. Don't come voting for Democrats here in this damn state. But my thing is this, if shit pop off in Texas, if Texans don't like the way that Texas is being ran, people are not going to leave Texas. No. Texans are going to stay in Texas, and we're going to stand up, and we're going to take our damn state back from a bunch of radicals.
Yeah.
We're not going to leave. So I think people in California need to stop leaving California. Stay in California and take your damn state back from these radicals.
Well, I would
stand up, come together as one, as a community, rise up, take the like go on a damn Martin Luther King march, do something, no violence, because people in California they start marching, shit start popping off. People, it just turned to violence for some reason here. It's just always turned to violence. But that's not what that's not what I would recommend. But I think people should stay in California, and they should, if you don't like the way it's being ran, stop voting for the same damn people, and stop being fooled by people. So I was talking to someone about this, like, well, some Californians thought that this person was going to be, this person was going to be a little sane. Well, that politician tricked everybody, but that's because people didn't do research. Mm-hmm. Stop listening to the media. Stop letting them tell you who you should vote for. Think for your damn self, and think with some common sense. Because if people start thinking with common sense, they wouldn't vote for a bunch of damn dummies all the time, And I just think people should, Californians, stay here in your state, fix this damn state, come together as a community, and make this one of the most, patriotic states in the damn country. But just come together. I mean, why are you leaving? No. We don't really want. People coming to Texas. I don't live in Florida. I live in Texas. So people can go to Florida. I don't give a damn. Florida's not my state. I could care less about Florida. I live in Texas. I'm from Oklahoma originally, so I love my home state. But I live in Texas. And I don't think people should be. Fleeing to Texas. No, stay at home. Clean up, sweep around your own front door. Because y'all coming to Texas trying to clean up shit. No, you couldn't even clean up California.
Yep.
Sweep around your own front door before you start sweeping around ours. Go back home, fix California.
I would say that a lot of people leaving California actually aren't, they make it out like it's conservatives leaving California. It's not. It's moderate Democrats leaving California, right? They're socially liberal, but they believe in, kind of financial freedom because they made their money, whether it's Silicon Valley or any of these city centers. They don't want to deal with the crime. They don't want to deal with the increase in all the taxes, and they don't want to deal with the lack of, affordable housing, from their perspective, which is more of a real estate play. So they moved to places like Plano, Texas, Dallas, Texas, right?
Austin,
a lot of the
Texas.
city centers.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why they talk about this mass exodus out of California. Frankly, I think it's a good thing because it's the conservatives that are here, they're staying here, right? The libertarians that are here, they're staying here. They appreciate California for what it is. Geographically, it's one of the most amazing parts of the country.
Great weather.
Yeah, phenomenal weather. And then for somebody who's in the seafood industry, right, and makes his money off the ocean, our coastline is got so much promise.
Yeah.
I talk about aquaculture, right? Like the California coastline in terms of open ocean aquaculture, there's so much opportunity. Now there's no federal framework right now for that business, so it all gets shipped to Mexico. Mm-hmm. And like they do it in Mexico. They take our technology and they do it in Mexico. But there's a promise, right? The ocean is a business. It's the next frontier. And it's the coastline in California. So leaving here is stupid. We got to fix it, just like you say. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, and I don't want the moderate Democrats coming to Texas.
Yeah.
Stay in California.
They're actually more annoying because you kind of wonder, I'd rather just know out there, right? Like I want to the libs of TikTok, right? I want to see it.
Yeah.
I want to know what you do, what you think. I want to hold that mirror up. I don't want to kind of wonder because you're a moderate Democrat.
Yeah, moderate. Yeah, and you still and the people that you vote for are not good for this country. Like, quit voting for the same people.
Yeah.
And you're voting for, if you were voting in California, you come to Texas and you vote for somebody that has the same mindset as the people that you were voting for in California, you're going to be dealing with the same thing eventually.
It's
when
the definition of insanity.
Try to, we need to turn Texas blue. No, take your ass back to your blue state.
Yeah.
Why you coming here trying to turn stuff blue?
Yeah.
I don't get it. Go back home. California it's a great state, great weather, whatever. But I mean, it's ran by a bunch of radicals. I heard that California is thinking about turning the sewage water into drinking water. What'd you think about that? That's some nasty shit.
Yeah, so there's a lot of systems right now that exist in which they do that. But what happens just generally without getting into the science?
I don't even want to know.
So right now, anything that you flush, right, like down a sink or through the drain, it gets filtered, and then let's say it's to the level of kind of clean drinking. Then it has to go through a reservoir or an aquifer, and it kind of has to distill, and then it filters more, and then it can be pumped back into hose water or non-potable water. What they're suggesting now, which isn't the first of its kind in the country, they've got one actually in Denver right now, is a direct sewage. They would sanitize the sewage water. It would not go into one of those underground aquifers. It would go right into the drinking supply. Now, it would probably only affect 3 or 4% of the population in California. That's how much it would produce. Yeah. The cost of doing so, it would be easier to just buy bottled water for all those people that you're giving water to. It's inefficient from a cost perspective, but they're still spending billions of dollars doing the feasibility studies and the feasibility analysis. I joke, I say California loses all of its money on feasibility studies. $15 billion in 2014 Prop 12 that went towards trying to build out more water infrastructure. Guess how much of it was spent on building reservoirs or any of that to hold more water? Zero.
Wow.
$0. There's been no more water infrastructure built out after that proposition 10 years ago. We dumped 90% of the rainwater this year into the ocean, and then we cry about a drought.
Why?
Because they have no place to store it. They don't have the infrastructure. And all the money they're spending on it goes to be like, hey, oh man, you're my buddy. Let's start a new LLC. You're going to study all this infrastructure. We're going to give this contract to another buddy who's a water expert. We're going to pay him $1 million and pay him $1 million. And all these people come together. It's cronyism, right? Nepotism. They're giving their buddies money. They're doing all these studies. They're trying to figure out how they can get it through this certain kind of landmass. But then nothing gets done. Nothing gets done.
Yeah.
It's the hypocrisy of red tape. And so we just keep spending money, throwing it at a problem, and never solving the problem.
No, man.
Now they want us to drink our own crap.
That's disgusting. I like well water.
Yeah, you know what?
I love some good old well water. I'm not drinking any. If I find out that the water I'm drinking is from is old sewage water, I won't drink it. I just won't do it.
But they won't tell you. That's the thing.
If I find out,
yeah, if you find
shit gonna hit the fan.
Literally,
shit gonna hit the fan. I'm standing right in front of the Capitol building with a sign.
Yeah.
I'm suing somebody. They need to tell people.
Well, I agree.
Actually, people need to know.
But they don't. That's the point.
That should be law.
They think that it's ignorance is bliss, right? Like you don't need to know about that. So you'd be shocked right now. I guarantee you that how much water actually is sewage water that's been treated 1 million times over. Yeah. And then we hear about people getting sick from the water. Right? Yeah. Oh, maybe it's the microplastics, the fluoride, it's this, that, the other thing, all the stuff that's in our water.
Yeah.
And who knows? We could be slowly getting poisoned by the water right now. We wouldn't know. They'd attribute it to COVID.
Anytime I look on the back of something, I see a hope. In the state of California, they said this may cause cancer.
Yeah.
This may cause, but so y'all can tell us what could cause cancer, but you can't tell us that this is old sewage doo-doo water.
Yeah, no. Anywhere you go, you walk into a building because it's state law now, and it's like proposition, I don't remember which it is, but this building has been built with X, Y, and Z that could hypothetically cause birth defects, cancer, this, that, the other thing. And I was going to take a picture of it. I saw this 2 days ago and say, has anyone ever not walked into a building because they saw that sign?
Right.
Right? Like, what has that sign done? The money that we spent researching, it was... To have those signs up is probably $200 million.
That's crazy.
And have you ever, has it saved one life?
I don't think so.
From looking at a sign?
I don't think so.
I mean, I look at the back of a cigarette package and the warnings, and I'm like, maybe I should start smoking cigarettes.
Right. I look at those signs, and I still go in the building. I still buy whatever product it is. Yeah. I don't care. I just don't care. And actually, the fact that they put it on so much stuff, it makes me think like it's bullshit.
It's noise.
It's just noise.
Exactly.
It's just, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So you mean to tell me that this Hot Wheel that I'm about my little nephew is gonna cause cancer? This is them hot.
Yeah.
The Hot Wheel packaging.
Yeah.
You know, like how? By touching it? You know,
and
it's just dumb stuff like that.
But I'm so glad that on the Hot Wheels instructions manual, there's a full warning page about not driving it on the 405.
Right, exactly. I mean, it's just freaking stupid, man. But okay, so how do you handle the restaurant business? Everything that you do. I mean, you are a big entrepreneur, so you are in a lot of things. How do you handle that with a wife and 4 kids?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I couldn't even give you kind of a vitamin to be able to do that. I think that's just more, it's all about the family, right? It starts with the family. So my wife is a working chef as well. We trade off with the kids. We homeschool the kids, or they're in like a pod program with other like-minded kids. Mm-hmm. We just do it one day at a time. The kids work in the restaurants at all times. Just realizes that life and business, everybody talks about you got to put the work away when you get home, and then you get home and you're with your family. Mm-hmm. We don't, right? Everything's blended together. But we take a perspective on all of it that's very open-minded, and that we understand that one leads to the other, and that they have equal and opposite actions and reactions, and that it's all kind of blended. But you do so with priorities in place, right? So family's always going to take precedent over business. Money doesn't drive us 100%, but you still need a mandatory minimum amount of money in order to feed the family. The kids got to have morals, values, and a work ethic, right? And that's really important for us. And then from there, it's just, surrounding ourselves with good people. Yeah. That is so often, it's talked about but forgotten about. Is surrounding yourself with good people.
With good people, yeah. Now, are you religious? Do you believe in God?
I'm I was an altar boy for years, Roman Catholic. Grew up Roman Catholic. My wife Christian. So we do, and the kids, the school they go to, that's a homeschool program, is religious. So it's definitely evident in our lives.
That's great. So your kids know about God, and they have a common sense dad.
Yeah.
So hopefully they don't grow up to be some flaming hot liberals.
Well, it's funny. You talk about. I'll tell you a funny story. We took the kids to Disneyland yesterday, and we all got home. It was late at night, and my son, who's been learning more about God and Jesus, and he asked me. He said, "Is God everywhere?" And I said, "Yeah, God's everywhere." And he's exhausted from the day. He goes, "So is God here in this house?" I said, "Yeah, God's in this house." He said, "Is God in this room right now?" I said, "Yeah, he's in this room." He goes, "Well, can you tell him to leave because I'm trying to sleep?"
Oh, that's funny. And what was your response to that?
I said, "Yeah, I'll take him out right now."
Yeah. Wow.
Sometimes you got to play with the kids.
Yeah. That's so funny. That's hilarious. Yeah, man. Well, man, I really appreciate you for coming on, man. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
This was great. So, is there anything you would like the audience to know? You got any new projects coming?
Just the restaurants, obviously always follow me on social, my Substack, American Gravy.
Gravy?
Yeah, American Gravy is the kind of the brand under which I'm doing a lot of this stuff. And I say American Gravy, I joke, I used to call ketchup American Gravy.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow. So what are you putting out on Substack, though?
So I just do recipes. I do food commentary.
Okay.
It's all food focused, right? Because at the end of the day, and I'll say this, and I'm working on a show right now, American Gravy, food being the great unifier. When it comes to food, we can pull people together.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to sound corny here, but you can actually sit down and talk food policy, recipes, food history, food culture with somebody that you are diametrically opposed to politically, and I promise you'll find a shit ton of common ground through food.
Right.
And we need to get back to food. So that's kind of the overall mission behind American Gravy.
Right.
Getting good products, good people. I'm excited to talk to you more about your pancake product because food, right?
Yes, food, yeah.
It's so important.
Yeah, we should all come together over a great plate of food, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see you got this tattoo, USDA prom. That's funny.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be synthetic soon. So.
American Gravy, and you have a TV show coming out soon. Are you working on
We're working on some stuff, yeah.
You're working on some stuff.
Yeah.
This is going to be great.
Awesome.
Well, man, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you.